Every family has a black sheep. That one member who just doesn't quite fit in. That one cousin who shows up to Thanksgiving rocking the prime Fred Durst getup and chills in the recliner for 8 uninterrupted hours with a Miller High Life. Avatar: The Last Airbender is no exception. Among the otherwise perfect storytelling and character development, there is one individual who sticks out like Jet in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now you probably assume I'm talking about Mang,
Floozy.
but actually I'm talking about Jet. On paper, Jet was a character with so much potential, but who was entirely wasted due to poor execution. What could have been a really interesting, morally gray character was instead an incredibly obnoxious and irritating character.
Does the Fire Nation let people go? Does the Fire Nation have mercy?
With an unearned arc, and who wastes what should have been one of the most emotionally charged scenes of the show. Jet is first introduced in the episode cryptically titled Jet. Why they chose that name is a mystery to us all, but they did. But in this episode, the group, led by Chad Sokka, runs across a group of wacky miscreants led by nerd Jet. Now in principle, the idea of Jet is a fairly interesting one. He is established as a leader of a group of orphans who have all been displaced as a result of the Fire Nation's war against the Earth Kingdom. He is morally gray and has been damaged and emotionally scarred as a result of the conflict. He and his gang are a representation of the impact the fighting is having on the world and how it is changing those who inhabit it.
Long shot over there, his town got burned down by the Fire Nation. And we found the Duke trying to steal our food. I don't think he ever really had a home.
As a result of this upbringing and emotional scarring, he has adopted a philosophy whereby he is willing to do anything to achieve what he deems to be victory, no matter the cost.
All those people. Jet, you monster!
This was a victory, Katara. Remember that.
Jet blurs the line between freedom fighter and terrorist. In the beginning, we are coded to view him as a heroic figure, as he is opposing the oppressive and evil regime of the Fire Nation, but as the episode progresses, we see that the brand of victory he offers isn't everything it is chalked up to be. He is brutal and offers some of the hardest moments of the show.
Take him for a walk. A long walk.
Ultimately, our heroes catch on and stop Jet, and we don't see much of Jet for a while. While brief, the moral questions that Jet's character asks are quite compelling and unique to him throughout the rest of the show. In a way, he is very much a Peter Pan-esque character. He's a charismatic leader of a group of young orphans living in the woods outside of society, fighting Fire Nation bandits. He has let his trauma define him and is either unwilling or unable to move beyond it and reincorporate himself into a society.
We came here to make a fresh start. But you won't let this go, even though there's no real proof.
He is beholden to no one but himself and is holding on to an idea that he refuses to move past.
Maybe you've forgotten why we need to start over. Maybe you've forgotten about how the Fire Nation left us all homeless? How they wiped out all the people we loved?
He is a character incapable of growth and is ultimately left isolated as those around him return to reality, while he chooses instead to forever live his days in Neverland. Everything I just said sounds great, but the issue is that talking about Jet off-screen and actually watching Jet on-screen offer two completely different experiences.
Does the Fire Nation let people go? Does the Fire Nation have mercy?
Jet, in theory, is tragic and compelling. Jet in execution is clunky and tedious. This clash is on display right from his introduction in Season 1. Here we have on paper Peter Pan and the Lost Boys lashing out against a cruel adult world, but in execution we have Jet repeating the same tired speeches about remembering why you fight and resisting the Fire Nation.
Have you forgotten that the Fire Nation killed your mother? Remember why you fight!
And him carrying himself with an inflated sense of self-righteousness and involving himself in matters that he needs to just stay out of.
They would love to find you, wouldn't they, Jet?
It's not gonna happen, Smellerbee.
All the way to his eventual defeat by Team Avatar. But because one appearance just wasn't enough for Jet, he shows back up again in Season 2 and falls right back into the same bad habits. He, along with a truncated version of his gang, are moving to Ba Sing Se in search of a better life. It is once again Peter Pan attempting to return to London, but finding that he can't exist in a world run on rules other than his own, and is unable to adapt to life in a society. And as such, he attempts to recreate Neverland wherever he goes. Jet sees Iroh heat his tea, presumably via firebending, and this causes him to lose his grip on reality and is the trigger that fully thrusts him back into Neverland. He refuses to drop the issue and chastises his loyal companions for trying to come back to reality and for trying to help him make positive change in his life.
Are we supposed to attack them? I thought we were starting over here, changing our ways.
Choosing instead to spend the next several episodes obsessing over the matter. He's actively meddling in the affairs of and attempting to ruin the lives of Zuko and Iroh, two of the most beloved characters in the whole show, and who we as an audience have just witnessed undergo an intense emotional and spiritual journey to get to where they are now, which is now directly at risk due to his actions. His obsession leads to a direct confrontation with Zuko Nairo, where he's ultimately defeated, arrested, and brainwashed. His actions over the course of these episodes, his grandstanding,
You see that? The Fire Nation is trying to silence me. It'll never happen.
selfish behavior,
If you don't want to help me, I'll get the evidence on my own.
and getting involved into matters that he should just stay out of,
I'm tired of waiting. These two men are firebenders!
distract from the otherwise interesting themes of his character, and put the emphasis instead on the unfortunate aspects of his character.
You must be getting tired of using those swords. Why don't you go ahead and firebend at me?
And the result is that we as an audience aren't saddened by the regression of a tragic character and feverishly rooting for him to change for the better, but bothered by the actions of a selfish and unlikable character and strongly rooting for him to go away. But unfortunately, he doesn't go away.
Jet's back.
And his character is thrust into a position that pivots him from simply being annoying to being insulting. Throughout the entire run of Avatar: The Last Airbender, there were many, many battles and many, many characters. But among all these characters and throughout all these battles, none carried with them the dramatic weight of having an on-screen death of a protagonist, save for one: Jet. The show had one chance and one character to kill off, and they bestowed that honor upon Jet. And not only was it a death, it was a hero's death, but it was entirely unearned.
I swear I've changed. I was a troubled person and I let my anger get out of control.
The simple fact is that the show wanted a dramatic, heart-wrenching, somber moment where we grieve for a lost friend, but didn't want to kill off a beloved character or put in the time to establish any other character to the point where the audience would care if they died. So instead, they took the easy way out and chose Jet, a previously established character who would carry enough recognition to make the death shocking, but whose death wouldn't anger fans too much. On the surface, the scene doesn't seem all that bad, and I know it worked for a lot of people. It is full of drama and character emotion, combined with swelling music and gut-wrenching line deliveries from Toph, Smellerby, Katara, and the previously mute character, Longshot. But if we look beyond the surface and center on the characters and their motivations, we can see that behind the scenes, it is hollow. The issue is that because of how his character was executed, we as an audience have no reason to care for Jet at all. He mistreated and inconvenienced our beloved heroes at every turn, and carried himself with a selfishness and egotism that made him unbearable, so we as an audience don't feel the weight of his death, but rather the relief from his death. And our characters also have no reason at all to care about his death. He was clearly a villain in his first appearance, and then was nothing but a nuisance to all upon his return, up until his final 5 minutes where he was supposed to be good. Even when he's trying to break loose of Longfang's control and is thinking back to his true self, the episode is showing clips from his first appearance of him holding Katara, leading his gang, and fighting the Fire Nation. But in that very episode it is referencing as a positive, make no mistake about it, he was painted clearly as an insane terrorist who tried to kill Sokka and who Katara hated with every fiber of her being by the end of it. Yet this is what the show is displaying to us as Jet remembering who he was and painting him in a heroic light. It makes no sense at all and it doesn't track. And why is Sokka just chill with Jet upon his return? He turned his friends and family against him, tried to murder him, and attempted mass murder of a village. Yet they are just pals now and Sokka is grieving over his death, and Katara is crying over his death? Really? For Jet? He played with her heart and tried to murder her brother. If they wanted a death, there are so many better options. Ones that come to my mind are Hakoda, Bato, Haru, Paku, Bumi, Haru, Suki, Mei, Ty Lee, or Haru. Any one of these would have offered a more earned emotional death than what we got. Jet just wasn't equipped or executed strongly enough to carry the weight of such a pivotal scene in the show, resulting in the final nail in the coffin of an already incredibly uneven character and the wasting of the show's one chance at a dramatic death. Ultimately, as he was executed, Jet just never quite fit in with the rest of the TV show, right down to his physical design. Have you ever noticed how his art style is more of a traditional Japanese manga style, while all the other characters have the more Japanese-inspired Western animation look? It contrasts and doesn't blend with the rest of the series. A detail fitting of a character who feels like he's from another universe. Neverland, perhaps.